Jessica, who
Yes.
are you and what do you do?
Hi, I'm Jessica Kaylee. I am an actress, content creator, and a producer. My handles are at the Jessica Kaylee on every platform.
You make POVs that go viral. What's your secret in 3 words?
Ooh, in only 3 words. Storytelling, comedy, and yourself. AKA, you need to be yourself if you're creating content.
First viral hit, genius strategy or total accident?
Definitely accident. It was a POV, but I had no idea. I honestly did not think it was going to be that good, and it just went viral.
What's one time you got in trouble for turning real life drama into content?
Ooh, one time my grandma called me and she was like, "Was that grandma skit about me?" And I assured her it wasn't. However, I found out later that she not only called me, but called my parents too and was like, "Can Jessica not make skits about me?"
What's the first time you thought, I could actually make a living doing this?
Probably, well, I've always enjoyed acting and content creation, so that's always been my passion and my goals. So honestly, even when I was 5, I was like, this is what I want to do.
Ever had a request for something so cringe you turned it down?
Not really. I think all requests are fun and I can always turn anything into something creative.
If you could have anyone cameo in one of your videos, who would it be?
Ooh, I would love to have probably Reese Witherspoon. I am a huge fan of her, or Brianne Howie. I love them both, so it would be fun to have either of them in a video.
The weirdest DM you've ever gotten after a viral video?
The weirdest DM, oh gosh. Honestly, anytime someone asks to look at my feet.
What's the most ridiculous thing you've done for content that actually worked?
One time I was about to hit 5 million, and so I had my family slime me, and they did buckets and buckets of slime, but it worked. The video performed really well, and I hit 5 million later that day.
POV, you're scrolling your comments. What's the wildest one you've ever read?
Oh, the wildest one, let me think. Probably when they're like, "Can you come to my school and perform this live?" I love to do my POVs, but they're not meant to be live. They're meant to be edited and curated. So whenever someone's like, "Can you do it live?" I'm like, "Oh no, I cannot."
What's your ultimate guilty pleasure TV show?
Ooh, right now I've been watching The Good Doctor. I watch it all the time. It's like my comfort show. I just love all medical shows, so I would say that one.
Night owl or early bird?
Early bird. I get up at like 6 a.m., just my body naturally.
Coffee or green juice?
Ooh, green juice.
Best advice you'd give your teenage self?
To not be such of a speedboat, be more of a sailboat. I think I can always, be looking towards the next thing and forget to just be in the moment. So I wish I would have kind of enjoyed my younger days a little bit more instead of just like focusing on the next big thing.
How many takes do you do typically before you call it?
I would say 5. Once it gets past 5, I either need to change the script a little or think about it differently, because if it's not working, it's probably for a reason.
How do you decide when a POV becomes a recurring character?
Ooh, usually I let the audience decide. I kind of wait to see if they're asking for the character to come back and if they have a natural reaction to the given character. If there's not a lot of buzz around them, then they're probably getting retired.
How do you keep characters distinct when you play multiple in one video?
Usually by their voices or how they speak or what they say. So Billie Jean, she's very friendly. She has a lot of comedic bits, where Becky is a little more negative and a little more nasally. So just distinguishing them that way.
What's the single best directing tip you've learned from another creator?
Ooh, to have fun with camera angles. Oftentimes I would just do one stationary camera, but my friends have encouraged me to try different camera angles, and I thought that was really cool.
How do you balance content that's for the algorithm versus stuff you love?
I always say one for them, one for me. So one for the algorithm and then one that I'm just excited to create.
You recently wrote, directed, produced, and starred in the short film Dressed to Impress in Real Life. How did it all start?
It really all started with me wanting to create a short film, and Dressed to Impress was going viral at the time. And I thought, how fun would it be to take this viral game and create it into a story narrative that feels like a movie?
Which came easiest to you? Writer, director, producer, or actor?
Definitely the actor. That's just in my blood, so that part came easiest. And I think the part I had to learn the most was the producer.
What was the very first scene or image you wrote down?
The very first scene was the runway scene. I knew I wanted lots of fun costumes. I knew I wanted my friends to be a part of it. So I started with that and kind of built around it.
What surprised you most about yourself in the process?
I would say how many hats I'm able to wear. Especially on set, I had to go from being the director to jumping into the scene to making calls as the producer. And I was very proud of myself how I managed all those roles at one time.
What's the most chaotic shoot you survived and still loved?
Ooh. Growing up, I did a short film, and we did super long days. It had a lot of dancing in it, so our feet were aching by the end of it, but we survived. And even though something happened in editing and we never got to see it, it was still really fun to be a part of.
How do you protect your mental energy during crunch weeks?
Honestly, I will only go online if I have to. Otherwise, I turn off the phone and I get outside, go for walks, and just breathe in the fresh air.
What's the ride or die piece of gear that never leaves your bag?
Probably my microphone, because if you want to catch content on the go, it's so important to have great audio, so I'm constantly throwing that thing in my bag.
If we open your camera roll right now, what are the last 3 pictures?
It's gonna be photos for a thumbnail of my POVs, so I'm doing like all these wild poses.
What's the last song you belted out when nobody was listening?
Ooh, it is, what song was it? It was probably on the way here. Oh, I Can Do Better Than That from the last 5 years. I love that song. It gives me so much life and energy, and I love musical theater. So any musical theater song, I'm belting it out in the car.
If you had a free day with 0 responsibilities, how would you spend it?
I would want to spend it swimming. I love swimming, and just relaxing by the pool with some of my close friends and family.
If you could live in any fictional universe for a week, where would you go?
Probably the Spider-Man universe. I think it would be so fun to have Spider-Man as my bestie, and I just love the Marvel universe in general, so that would be it.
What's one rumor you want to set the record on?
Ooh, a lot of people think I'm adopted. They think I'm part of the Nelson family, and although I do look very similar to one of their daughters, I am not.
What's the last lie you told?
Honestly, I can't even remember. I am a terrible liar, so I really try not to, because you will be able to see it.
What keeps you grounded when a video goes viral?
I feel like you can't let the views determine your mood or anything, so I try not to let virality or lack of virality affect me, and I just focus on what story I'm excited to tell next.
Who's been in your corner since day one?
Definitely my little sister. She is my biggest supporter and my biggest critic, as a good sister is. So she definitely keeps me grounded. She'll text me, she'll be like, that video is cringe. And I'm like, okay, perfect.
What's the weirdest internship or job you had before full-time creating?
I wouldn't say it's the weirdest one, but my job before full-time creating is I worked in dementia care for 2 years. I was their activities assistant. Dementia care has people living with Alzheimer's or dementia have such a huge part of my heart and my life, and I actually still volunteer to this day.
Biggest risk you took that actually paid off?
Probably the short film. That was a huge investment, not only money-wise, but time-wise. I worked on it for almost 2 months, which was a huge investment of time, and it paid off. The audience loved it, and I was so glad.
What's the one thing you want your future self to remember from today?
I think just remember that, we're doing the thing, we're making progress, stepping forward, and I'm so excited to see what my future self does.
Favorite off-camera ritual for decompressing?
I've recently got into meditating, especially like meditation walks where you're just walking and you're breathing in the fresh air and focusing on what you can hear. I think it helps you stay so grounded, and it's just so important to make sure you're getting outside.
If you wrote a memoir chapter right now, what would it be titled?
Ooh, memoir chapter. I would say, not to quote Dory, but just keep swimming. I think, every person goes through so many different challenges and battles in life, and it is so important to not let those keep you down and to keep moving forward.
Have you ever filmed something you couldn't post? What happened?
I would say, yeah, all the time, but that's not because I can't post it for any particular reason, but I just love to film fun little trends for myself that I'm like, okay, this is never gonna see the day of light, but it was fun for me.
One-line pitch for your next big move.
Ooh, probably, without giving too much away, I would say The Underdog. That's kind of like a hint to my next short film that's coming out.
What's the one question you never get, but wish you would?
Probably, honestly, any personal question. I feel like my audience is always asking about my characters and show a lot of interest in, what stories I'm gonna tell next, but sometimes they're not really asking to get to know me, and I'm like, hey, there's someone behind the camera too.
If you could time travel to your first viral video, what advice would you whisper to yourself?
Well, my first viral video also came with a lot of hate. I feel like as any viral video does, it can end up on the wrong algorithm. People didn't really know a lot of what the POVs were, and so people are like, why is she just talking to herself? And I think in the moment, I let that kind of get to me. I was like, ooh, do I want to keep making these? And I'm so glad I did, but I think I would go back and tell my younger self, don't worry about the hate. Haters gonna hate.
What's your rating of The Sit?
A 10 out of 10. Guys, I'm scared of the dark. Hello? Hello?